Good evening, YouTube. HeirofCarthage here, and welcome deep into the northern waste near the lands of chaos, where I know it's a strange place to see an army of cold bloods, but they've combined with their, I guess, temporary high elf allies. I guess that the plan of the old ones is currently in line with the same vision as the Everqueen, and so the lizards have joined forces with the forces of Alariel. I can't remember her name of her settlement right now. I don't know why it's Avelorn. Good grief. Took me forever. Folks, I don't know what's wrong with me sometimes. In any case, we're going to have Chaos and Norsca on the other side of this, as well as beastmen. So the warriors of Chaos, Norsca, and beastmen. So all the forces of Chaos combining against this army that is out to rid the world of chaos. So let's check out the different armies that are on the battlefield real quick. I'm going to kind of give you an above view so we can quickly hit this. So actually it's going to be the same players from the battle that I showed yesterday. And this is actually not my team. I'm on the other team. This actually came from the perspective of Dav, because when I tried to save the replay, I failed. In any case, there are 4 Marauder horsemen with javelins. You can tell that this is Dav plays because it came loaded with light cavalry. He loves his light cavalry. And to be quite fair, it's good. If you bring light cavalry and use it well, it is a very, very useful unit because it can skirmish and be quick and cause damage to key units as long as you don't throw it away. Now, as for the rest of the troops here, Wicked has brought himself the Eye of Morslib, and he's going to have Morgar the Shadowgave, and a lot of spawn. So this is a very interesting army in the sense that he's got 3 chaos spawn, and then there's 2 pigs of Arkansas, 2 units of Arkansas Razorbacks. Except unlike the actual Arkansas Razorback team, these guys would actually be halfway decent at football. Okay, jokes aside, I gotta tease Arkansas, but in any case, we got some Razor Gore herds, and boy, there's some even bigger tusked creatures behind them if it isn't Wulfric the Wanderer, and 2 feral mammoths. So this is a triple mammoth showdown here. It's going to be absolutely nuts. There's a shaman sorcerer back here, Lore of Death, got some purple sun, and it looks like soul blight and some other fun stuff there. And then some marauder berserkers, as well as marauders with great weapons. Not a whole lot of infantry for Norsca because almost all of the spend is right there, but you can see that spread pretty wide for the beastmen forces with lots of cheap infantry just supporting the spawn and the Razor Gore herds. Now for Chaos, there's a lot of spend on a Hell Cannon and a Kolek, as well as the Horsemen. And as far as the rest of the Chaos army, there are some Chosen here, Mirror Guard, and then more Chosen. So a very tanky infantry line that's hiding in the woods, obviously hoping to not become the target of any artillery should it had been brought by their enemies. And then we got a Shadow Sorcerer and an Exalted Hero. Now, Exalted Heroes on Manticore are a very good deal right now. Very good pick for Chaos, and they are far cheaper than they used to be. Now, I'm going to introduce you to our team. As Avelorn here is obviously Regina. And you can tell it's Regina because she has Dryads up front. She always brings Dryads and Handmaidens. She's a couple of her favorite units. And quite frankly, they are good units. Handmaidens are anti-large plus decent missile damage and range. So a very nice support unit. We did allow, once again, the campaign exclusives. So we got this special unit here for the High Elves, which is going to be the Hand of the Shadow Crown. And it's a skirmishing hero with decent weapon strength. So it should be a pretty interesting one to see into play. Not to mention, we have one Alistair the White Lion on his Star Dragon. That's right. Alistair. He's here. I've never managed to confederate this dude in campaign. And I don't think you can actually have him on a dragon in campaign. Can you? CA, please? I don't know. Y'all answer that question. I'm really not sure of the answer. There's a few spears and some Gate Guard. This is another campaign exclusive unit that the High Elves are able to bring when you leave that. That's kind of similar to Luthern Sea Guard. So pretty similar unit there with the Gate Guard. In any case, I am repping the Lizardmen with Krokgar and a Scar Veteran, Saurus Warriors for infantry. Then I have some Feral Cold Ones and some Cold One Spear Riders. Pretty simple army. I also have a Skink Priest, Lord of Heavens. But kind of the bigger, tougher backbone of this army is going to be Nakai the Wanderer here. And this is Reptile King playing his beloved reptiles. He's also got the Shredder of Lustria, which is a gutsy move for sure because of how much spin that ends up being. But it's a big, powerful unit. And then he's got some red-crested skinks supporting that army as well. And then Lord Croak is there along with some temple guards. And Croak, obviously, a more anti-infantry focused component of any army. You can see there's some Beast of Tanshar hiding out here, as well as some Marauder horsemen with throwing axes way out on the flanks as well. Anyway, let's get the battle underway, kind of see how this plays out. It's going to be a very interesting battle. My army was focused with to be kind of the infantry backbone, because I could see that my teammates were focused more on heavy damage units, but I brought a lot of anti-large in the form of Kroq-Gar and a Scar Veteran, and so I didn't want to go completely, as an infantry backbone. So Saurus Warriors, and they are supported by a couple of Bastiladons and Feral Cold Ones for some armor piercing. So I was definitely expecting to hold up against some armored Chaos Infantry if necessary, or armored infantry from either the Beastmen or Norsca. Now that doesn't mean that either faction has to bring that type of infantry. Let's go over, there's some action very early here, as the red-crested skinks get some very unwanted attention from both the Eye of Morslib and a summoned Cygor, as well as a Hell Cannon. So my Saurus Warriors and the skinks are in some pretty big danger. You can see that Croak is going to use his Supreme Shield here to help support these units, which are really getting it handed to them right now. And they are pushing ahead. The Chaos Horsemen now hurling javelins in their face to add insult to injury, and not just injury, but death. And then here comes Kolek, who immediately terrifies these poor skinks and sends them packing. But Kolek's presence will draw the attention of both Alistair and the Shredder of Lustria. You can see some of the forces trying to fall back away from him. I'm going to bring in some Feral Cold Ones to kind of just busy him for a moment. Try and start nipping at his armor. And you can see the Shredder of Lustria. Alistair is going to stop and kind of do a little bit of breath attack here on Kolek. He has a pretty big target, and it managed to cause some decent damage. Now, as far as the rest of the engagement goes, the Dryads were out front, being led by Regina, and they are being attacked by this Manticore. And then you can see elsewhere the Dryads engaging the Razorback herds. Razorgore herds. And here comes a charge by Norsca. Now the Mammoths are kind of holding back for the moment, and I'm wheeling Kroq-Gar and the Scar Veteran to be willing to meet them, but this is pretty tall odds. 3 Mammoths, even for anti-large killers like Kroq-Gar and a Scar Veteran, is a little bit insane. You would want to single those guys out. So we'll see how I manage to handle 3 Mammoths facing my way. I didn't want them to just charge in and completely wreck my infantry, and so I go ahead and go make an engagement here, which I had figured I would just pull out of once it had gotten started. I wanted to see how much damage I could cause. Meanwhile, Kolek is finding himself taking considerable damage over here to the Shredder and Nakai. Even though those units aren't particularly anti-large focused, both can deal a lot of damage, plus the Star Dragon was helping. So you see kind of a large engagement overall here. I've used my Spear Riders to kind of hold back some of the Razorgore herds in the middle. Been pretty effective, but my Scar Veteran gets singled away from Kroq-Gar, and then in a really cheeky move here, Morgar the Shadowgape comes up and summons Spawn all around my dinosaurs, and it starts to make it very difficult for me to extricate myself from this fight. And although Mammoths aren't anti-large, they just deal so much armor-piercing damage that just about anything around them is in pretty big danger. So although Spawn aren't good against large, and nor are Mammoths, they're going to be good when they're in these kind of numbers. So it's a very tough fight that I'm in right there. You see the Star of Avelorn actually being used to keep the Shredder alive. Probably not a bad plan. If you're going to be dumping hit points somewhere, why not dump it into the biggest hit point sponge on the battlefield? Especially the most expensive one at that. Now the Handmaidens are temporarily kind of running away from this exalted hero. Honestly, they would be a pretty tough fight for it, but I don't think that Regina wants to get them hurt that way yet. She'd like to kind of keep skirmishing and playing it that way. Now Kolek decides to come after the Hand of the Shadow Crown here, so we'll let you see some of this action. In the background, unfortunately for me, Crocky isn't going to last much longer. I got myself in way over my head there, and it was sorely beaten down. I guess that's what I get for, even for a moment, underestimating what a triple Mammoth attack would look like. Definitely should have waited for support from other units. You can see Kroq-Gar and the Scar Veteran are still alive, but they are getting absolutely overwhelmed over here, and although we've caused some damage, I say some damage. We've caused a lot of damage to Wulfric, but guess what? He has a lot of hit points. So don't get in over your head when you're taking on the mammoths. You can see back here that Alistair manages to catch up with Kolek, and Kolek is hurting pretty bad at this point in the battle. He's had quite a bit of pain inflicted into him, and this Star Dragon will be more than he can handle here. Although he is kind of intended for this type of fight, not when he has been so badly beaten beforehand. So Alistair manages to down the beast, but not before Kolek causes some fairly significant damage. And seeing that, the Chaos Sorcerer decides to flee. Look at the power bar. It is moving against my team, but there is still a fairly healthy Shredder. Nakai is alive, as is Croak. Croak potentially able to drop some very damaging spells onto expensive Chaos Infantry, depends on how much magic he has left. And then you've got the 2 Handmaidens here as well. And the Handmaidens can be good. You can see the Mage, Lord of Heavens, kind of wheeling around over there. Though I do believe that somewhere in the midst of all this, Alariel got caught and killed, if I remember right, so the healing is no longer present here. Look at all these Marauder Horsemen coming on the flanks, and there are more Norskins left as well. Now, Krokgar routed. He does come back from routing. He's back here in the back, and I do use him to pick off a few routing units so that he won't be utterly useless. The fight continues on, and the Shredder of Lustria, being the enormous beast that it is, isn't quite ready to throw in the towel yet. This thing causes a lot of damage, and he's got the support of Alistair, and he's definitely going to fight on. See Croak back there still supporting the troops. That lovable dead toad. He is so OP in campaign, and I absolutely love it. Like, he's been one of my favorite characters to be able to play with in campaigns. There's plenty of rotten meat to choose from here for the Shredder of Lustria, if that's what he's really after. You can see Alistair giving the mammoth a bath in fiery dragon breath. And over here, a little support from Morgur getting ready to come in. He has got so many spawn, and the spawn are unbreakable, which means you get stuck trying to kill them to the last. It's very difficult to do. So you are going to get a Supreme Shield here to help protect the Shredder, but there is no more healing. It's going to make it very difficult for the Shredder to be able to get through here and try and accomplish all this on its own. Plus, there are some Chosen left here. It's just a brutal fight. And my team, because of my losses and because of our unit availability here, we just don't have what it's going to take to answer this much. So getting myself overextended against 3 mammoths, yeah, that's one of those gargantuan mistakes. But you know what? It's kind of like stumbling into a Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus, except the elephants want to kill you. That's pretty much what that was like. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go to the circus of death. Not unless you got your friends with you. Maybe a few regiments of handguns to back you up. Too bad the lizards don't have any. I'll tell you what would have been really helpful here, and I did almost bring them, and I definitely should have, would against the light cavalry and the mammoths, salamander hunting packs would have been absolutely brilliant. Mammoths have some armor, especially the one that Wulfric's on here at 70, but it's not spectacular, and then the feral mammoths have very little. Salamander hunting packs would have done a very nice job versus this type of stuff. Would have been able to cause tremendous damage. And I do believe that Shredder has had it at this point, and Croak is unbreakable. I mean, as unbreakable as an old Slan can be, and he is going to come over here and fight to the utter death. Or is it re-death? I don't really know which one it is. In any case, he's going to come fight it out. This guy's absolutely awesome. Am I the only one? I know I've said this 100 times. Total War Warhammer is just such a great thing. I love the historical Total Wars. Even 3K, it's a recent launch. Really fun. Eric, why don't you play it? Why don't you play that more? Well, a couple reasons. One, people just don't watch a lot of it. But two, it's really hard for me to get like super immersed into 3K, and it's a good game. I'm not even trashing on it. I'm not. It's a good game. But it's just, I don't know. I just have so much more fun watching giant monsters wail on each other and spells and like the faction diversity. I just love it. Like this thing feels like it fits Total War like a glove to me. Now, if you're a person who likes something like 3K or Rome 2 or Till or all those better than Warhammer, that's totally fine. You know, it's just an opinion thing, right? It's just an opinion. But I'm just telling you, that's the way it comes across to me. And I love these kind of battles because it's just madness. It's madness. Like I said, if you haven't already, go join the Discord, okay? Join the Discord. I keep a link in the description. It's free to join. There's thousands of us on there now, but any given time, there's going to be a group of people in there you can chat with about the game, about life in general, about other games. We've got different rooms set up to share replays, to get ideas for your campaigns, to figure out armies for multiplayer, to find games to play with each other, whether it's multiplayer campaign or multiplayer battles. It is just a great place to be. I have awesome moderators who always make sure that it is a good place to be. And I love dropping in there myself and saying hi. And I appreciate Angel Crab, who is pretty new to the game here, by the way, too, and had joined in with us. And pretty fearless. I mean, that's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking, right? To go on here with someone. Some of us have spent thousands of hours in this game, like Total War games in general. And he just jumped right in here with us. So it was great to have Angel Crab there. So thanks for playing as Norsca. Triple Mammoth was a thing of beauty. And then this is an interesting one too, coming from from Wicked. I really like this, the Chaos Spawn with Razor Gore Herd. Razor Gore Herds deal a lot of armor-piercing damage, and they do a good job backing up cheap chaff infantry. And then you can summon, I think, 2 more Chaos Spawns. That's freaking 5 Chaos Spawns you got to deal with, plus the summon, the Bray Shaman. There was a Beast and a Wild here. I think there was a Manticore, and there was a Cygor. So it's like the beastmen using their magic to just expand their army as far as number of units, and it's just really a cool idea by Wicked, and also like the Anaskink Lustria Walker name right now. It's really, really good stuff. Anyway, yeah, the Triple Mammoth build, lots of fun. Don't you like the new portraits too? I mean, Wulfric looks so stoic here. Like he's a real philosopher of the North. He's like, yeah, I've got cuts all over my skull, but I'm just sitting here pondering the inner workings of a mammoth. You know what I mean? Like he's got great things on his mind right there. No, seriously though, I love these new portraits. They very small thing, but really kind of a fun addition to the game. You got Krokgar over here too, who is suffering from some raging spicy diarrhea. You can just see the look in his eyes right here. He's eaten way too many spicy dark elves. And it's not sitting well. In any case, let's check out Dovplay's army here. The light cavalry, and always an interesting pick for Chaos. And you think about it, he just brings a very small, very elite infantry corps, brings them out last, where his bigger hitters come out first. You can do this sometimes in team battles and get away with this type of thing, being relatively unbalanced, because you have the rest of your opponent or teammates' armies. Plus, your opponents may be doing fun stuff like this too. Team battles are just a whole different dynamic. If they're very competitive, obviously they would be one thing. But when they're just battles with friends like this, I find it to be a very fun environment, because you just don't know what people are going to bring. People do things that are fun. You pick a theme. You just do your best with it. This theme was kind of like a Lizardmen and allies versus chaos and allies. It's just supposed to be a fun theme. And it really turned out nice. But in any case, appreciate them playing with me. I didn't do much here, so we won't focus much on my army. Regina definitely had a little bit of fun with Alistair. It doesn't show any kills here, but this guy did tremendous damage to a couple of units on the battlefield. And you can see the Hand of the Shadow Crown here too. A unit I've never actually gotten to use in the campaign, so it's neat seeing there. Gate Guard are usually what you have guarding the different gates around Ulthuan, so pretty cool stuff there from Regina. And then Reptile, coming in here repping his favorites, 129 shredded of Lustria, but not quite able to do it, even though he had the Star of Avelorn. Talk about a deadly combo there, keeping the Shredder alive with the Star of Avelorn. It's too bad we didn't have like a Lore of Life Slan too, and just go like full in crazy healing all over some really big dinosaurs or something. Maybe we got to try that sometime. That'd be a fun thing to do in these team battles. Anyway, appreciate all the folks who participated. Hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now, and I will be back soon with more. And if you want to play some of these team battles, like I said, jump on over in that Discord. Maybe I'll see you there. HeirofCarthage signing out.